arrived on the scene a few minutes ago. Tammy, what have you learned?
Michelle, well, I can tell you, first of all, right now, fire trucks have taken over several blocks of this apartment complex. That's how massive this response is. Now, take a look behind me. You can see one of the ladder trucks is out here and a firefighter on top of that ladder. The building is still smoldering with smoke, and firefighters are trying to tackle this fire from the outside. Now, right now, investigators don't believe anyone was inside the fire. First responders got the call just after 3 p.m. And when they got here, the apartment complex had been completely engulfed in flames, and the apartment complex has about 60 units inside. First responders tell me they had to evacuate the building, and some people got out on their own. Now, firefighters are fighting the fire from the outside, as I mentioned, because officials were concerned about the building collapsing. Now, more than 20 engines and ladder trucks are here, plus a hazmat team, a tech rescue team, and the regional strike team. And back out here live, the fire department has closed by nearby streets as a precaution, and they're also telling people to keep their windows and door closed as a precaution. And we're still trying to learn more details. We also actually just found out that at least one firefighter was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. But Michelle, for now, reporting live in Northgate, Tammy Mutasa, KOMO News.
Glad you were with us. We continue to follow breaking news in North Seattle, where firefighters are on the scene after a 3-alarm apartment fire. KOMO's Tammy Mutasa joins us now live from the scene where she's been collecting information. Tammy, what'd you learn?
Michelle, this is still a very active response at this apartment complex in Northgate, and now we're hearing from families who ran for their lives when the fire broke out at the 60 apartment building you see right behind me. Now, right now, investigators don't believe anyone is inside. First responders say they got the call just after 3:30 p.m., and when they got here, flames had completely engulfed the apartment building. First responders tell me they had to evacuate the building, and some people got out on their own. Now, many people who live here tell us they didn't hear any smoke detectors going off. One woman says she was taking a nap when she smelled smoke and saw firefighters running with hoses.
Then when I opened my window, I saw a lot of smoke, and you cannot even breathe. Then I tried to wake up my husband and try as much as possible to run outside. And that's all it started. And oh my goodness, I don't have anything.
And back out here live, that's what we're hearing from many people who live here, that they just don't have anything left. Officials tell me one firefighter has been taken to the hospital with minor injuries. I'm also told investigators will be here for several days to try and figure out exactly what started this fire. Reporting live in Northgate, Tammy Mutasa, KOMO News. Michelle, well, Meridian Way just opened up a short time ago, but I can show you firefighters are still here on scene working into the night. You can see there's some engines and ladders still here on the scene. Investigators tell me it'll take several days to find out exactly what started this fire. Thick smoke gushes out of an apartment building. Families are caught in the smolder.
It's really a panic because when you open the door, oh my goodness, it's really smoke.
The weight of water and flames finally forces a roof to tumble down. Nearly 70 people escaped with their lives, but without their belongings. All anyone could do was watch in despair.
I lost everything, belonging, everything.
The smell of smoke woke up some families in the middle of afternoon naps.
Everybody got out fastly, and we were outside and we saw a lot of smoke coming out.
Many people told us they didn't hear smoke detectors beeping.
Oh, I'm so scared. And I told my son, why there's no fire alarm sounding?
The response, massive. At least 20 fire engines and ladders lined Meridian Way for blocks. Firefighters fought the flames from the outside of the building with concerns it could collapse.
I didn't realize how intense it was until it burned for a while. And it was spooky. It wasn't fun.
Hours later, this is the aftermath, and a busload of displaced families have nothing except gratitude. Everyone made it out.
I'm really worried. I'm so nervous at that time.
And back out here live, you can see firefighters are still working and investigating to figure out the cause of this blaze. Now, we're told one firefighter suffered minor injuries and was taken to the hospital. Reporting live in Northgate, Tammy Mutasa, KOMO News.
A stray bullet flew into the bedroom of 2 young boys.
Now their father has a message for the person who fired that shot. KOMO's Gabe Cohen has the story from Seabeck in Kitsap County.
Cracked windows and walls are the consequence of having 2 tough boys.
They were doing another destructive boy thing.
So Dallas Howell assumed this hole came from roughhousing till he looked closer.
It's a bullet hole.
He found it this week while tucking in his sons.
Fury, rage.
The bullet came through just above the window. It ricocheted off the ceiling and ended up lodged in the wall above the boy's bed. Luckily,
It's okay.
Phoenix and Houston weren't in here.
I think he's just scared that it could happen any time now, and he doesn't want it to happen to us.
The Kitsap County Sheriff's Office thinks the shot came from this vacant field next door, fired straight into the side of the house. As for who pulled the trigger, that they don't know.
Well, now there's deer here.
In rural Seabeck, gunfire's common, so investigators think this was an accident. Though they warn if you fire a gun, you're responsible for where the bullet ends up, like in a family's home.
Something silly could have cost us everything. A second changes it. A split second. I realized that it was a bullet that had passed.
Dad took to Facebook this week with a message.
Keep in mind that there's families with small kids.
His video's been shared hundreds of times.
This is about controlling ignorance. I mean, this is just simple carelessness.
And it's about a family feeling safe to play in their own home.
And it has to be taken seriously.
In Seabeck, Gabe Cohen, KOMO News.
KOMO's Joe Moreno was along the Snoqualmie River yesterday when a man had to pull his own family to safety.
We saw this tree overhanging into the river, and so we started paddling away from it.
Fred Park wasn't especially alarmed by the swirling eddy until he realized the current was dragging him and his children straight toward it. The 5 of them were tubing down the Snoqualmie River when they floated up to a snag about 1.5 miles below the falls.
Like the tubes started going immediately under the tree, and then we all got sucked into the water.
Park had put life jackets on the kids, but still, it was chaos as he scrambled to pull his sons and daughter from the submerged log pile while his nephew swam to shore.
Luckily, they had their life jackets on, and they kept them above the water, and so I could grab them. But otherwise, yeah, they might have got sucked under and drowned.
Just hours before, rescue teams had been called to that same location for a group of 5 that got in trouble the same way. A second group got stuck while firefighters tried to save the first set of people.
They actually got pushed underneath the first strainer and thankfully came out underneath, and we were able to throw ropes to them.
Despite the danger posed by the submerged snag, Lieutenant Joe Springer says these log piles serve as vital fish habitat, so they aren't always cleared out, though this one has been especially troublesome.
We've had issues there in past years, and we've already had issues there this year.
No one was hurt in these rescues, but the tubers were plenty shaken up. Park says his kids got freaked out by the raw power of the river and never expected the day to go like this.
It may be a long time before we go back out again.
Joel Marino, KOMO News.
Breaking in Auburn this morning, 2 people are dead from a fire that ripped through their apartment building.
One family hit really hard. A father and son did not make it out. KOMO's Denise Whitaker is live with the details. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning. Now that man's wife and daughter, however, did escape the flames. And I also just learned fire investigators initially just in the last 20 minutes were starting to be able to get in there to see how and why this fire started. But then there was a flare up. So those investigators were forced back out. So right now, nobody's inside looking around just yet, although it does look like firefighters are starting to get geared up that perhaps they can get back in there. Now, the first call on this fire came in around 11:30 last night. This is a 4-plex, and at the time of the fire, about 8 people were in the building. Matthew Dittmar was one of them, watching TV with a friend when they heard some odd noises. Matthew tells us he ran outside to grab the hose.
By the time I seen it, By the time I got the garage door open, I could see inside the apartment into the kitchen living room area. It was just completely engulfed in flames. There was, with my little hose, there was nothing I could do about it.
2 Auburn police officers ran inside to see if they could find anyone in there, but the flames were just too intense and they had to retreat. Firefighters discovered the father and son in their second-floor unit. The little boy's mother and sister somehow escaped those flames. The mother was so distraught that medics eventually took her to the hospital, and I'm told right now that the 9-year-old girl is with a family member. Now, I also asked Kimberly Terhune with Valley Regional Fire if they know which unit this fire first started in or anything about how it started yet. And right now, it's just way too early in the investigation for them to have any of that information. Of course, that's the next step that fire investigators will work on determining. As soon as they can safely get into the building, they will start sifting through all of the evidence to try to figure out exactly where and how this fire started.
We really couldn't get out the stairway because it was all caught up in flames, so kind of took our best bet and just jumped off to the side as careful as we could.
And then I didn't have time to get my cat. He was able to get a ladder. He climbed up. He was able to get my cat out, but then she ran and she's lost.
How you doing?
I'm happy and I'm glad. Cause she's like my baby.
You found it okay?
Yeah.
Just a little scared? Yeah.
Hey mama, you're okay. No, we're fine.
We'll be fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Alright guys, we gotta head on out. Thank you.
You guys are tired, yeah.
People love what we've done with this space and moving the Obama Museum from downstairs to the back has created a unique space in the back that didn't exist before.
The energy that's here, it's love, it's community, it's art, it's creation, it's an amazing place.